DIY tools. What do I need? What do I not need? How do I save money? Where am I spending money that I shouldn't spend? Hi, I'm Beryl. I will help you in this video create the toolbox that you need for your DIY wedding without buying things that you don't know. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I have tools that I think are necessary, and I have tools that are not necessary that I have collected over many, many years. So first off, what will I always start with? I always start with the bare essentials. Pencil, eraser, ruler. There are always going to be things that you're going to need to measure and things like that. So that's also where little tape measure comes in. So I'm going to go through my essential tools that I love to use so that you will not waste the money on things that you don't need. So, did you know that all tools come in a variety of quality? And sometimes buying the cheaper version is just as fantastic and just as helpful as buying the more expensive thing. I have a glue gun. This is a DeWalt glue gun. I spent approximately about $65, $70 on her. She is used, yes, she's my little girl. I call her my girl. She's my workhorse when I need her. When I'm doing flowers and things like that, never use her. I use her for the signages and things like that. So this is where you get to choose. I would not suggest you buy this one. And the reason I would not suggest you buy this one is I am a professional. I would use this a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen times a year. And that is just because I run an event planning business. So I would suggest to you, you go to somewhere like Spotlight or even Bunnings and you purchase yourself a cheaper version. I know you can get them for around $10, $12, $15, which is much better than spending $75, $60, $70 on a more expensive one that you are never going to use again. So this is where you've got to use Beryl's knowledge and not buy too many expensive things that you're never going to use again. So the other things I would suggest you buy is I buy my PVA glue by the bucket. Sometimes I buy it by the big bucket. Again, I'm a professional. I am using this daily. There is always something that I need a little bit of glue for. So therefore I have, and usually I put this into, I go to the $2 shop and I get a little plastic sauce bottle, and you can get them and they're about this big, and I put some glue in it, and then I do that all the time. So you can buy yourself smaller bottles of these glues, of these craft glues that now, and if I read this to you, this is PVA glue, washes up in water. It's good for wood, paper, cardboard, cloth, foam, laminating, veneers, unglazed pottery, not good for glazed pottery, particle board and leather. Yes, you can use this on leather if that's the way you want to go. And you could probably use it on some of the vinyls. You would have to test it. So I'm now telling you, get a little bit of PVA glue. The third thing I would buy in the adhesives line would be what do you call it? Double-sided tape. The advantage of double-sided tape is it can hold things in place while you're about to glue permanently using the hot glue gun or whatever, and it's good for invitations and things like that where it's quick fix. You can get it done very, very quickly. So that's my 3 essentials for the adhesives. Now for my cutting tools. If you see me looking down, I am reminding myself what I need to tell you. Craft knife. There are plenty of craft knives. This is my favorite one. The reason for that is she was a little bit more expensive, probably double the price of a Stanley knife, but she had slips on my belt. It's good. I can't drop her. I know where she is. I can always get her easily, especially if I'm up in the air doing an event like hanging flowers or something, or LED lights or something like that. So it's handy for me to have her. You can just get, hang on a minute, you can just get a normal Stanley knife. We've all seen them. This one is actually a Stanley knife. It has a blade. Normally comes with, when you get it normally comes with a spare blade inside. If you're only planning your wedding, you can always get replacement blades. I've had this guy now probably 30 years. I find her very useful. This is a very useful piece of tool equipment, because I know the blades have never changed. So, and I've used her, but you can tell by the wear and tear on her. See, she's pretty knocked around. She's had a bit of a hard life. She's up to 40 years old, and I know I can get the blades anytime. So I know that this is something very, very useful for you, because you can use it in your home that you may be purchasing in the future, and may only cost you $10. So you don't need to spend the $400. Where this conversation's going is, I had a bride that came to me going, I don't want to spend all that money. I priced everything I need and it's going to cost me $400. So I'm trying to keep your budget under $100. I'm trying to recognize that weddings are expensive. So let's see how we can get it at a reasonable cost. So, next thing that I absolutely love. So far for that was craft knife and a cutting mat. It's not essential. It's a nice to have, especially if you don't have somewhere that you can cut things on, because you cannot use a knife on kitchen tables and things like that, because you're going to cut the kitchen table. So I would highly recommend buying a small. I've got one here that's 1 meter by 1 meter. It's just who I am. You could get a small one like this and cutting knife with it, $20, $25. Sometimes you can pick them up in the $2 shop, even cheaper. So have a look at the $2 shop. The cutting boards at the $2 shop are probably a little bit less quality. They're still just as good. So, and a cutting board is also called a self-adhesive board, just in case you see that terminology. So, now, the other things I would recommend, scissors. These came in a pack. 3 in a pack. Also came with a little bit of different ones. I'll show you what these ones look like. Yep, I've got tools everywhere. 3 in a pack. With this guy, they cost me $5 from Aldi. I find brilliant for paper, brilliant for cutting some ribbon. They do go blunt fairly quickly, so I recommend that you use them only for paper, and you buy yourself a good quality pair of fabric scissors if you're going to use them in the future. Do you see what I'm doing? If you're not going to use them in the future, just get a brand new pair of these that may have only cost you $5 from the $2 shop, or $2 from the $2 shop, and they're perfectly sharp. They have a limited life cycle on them. Excuse me. So now, after we've gone through the scissors, which paper and fabric, mark your scissors. I have a cheap pair of scissors that I have purchased. I would mark on them fabric only down the handle, so that I don't. In my case, I have a very expensive, as a pattern maker, dressmaker and designer, I have a very expensive pair of scissors that I use all the time. So that is what I would recommend. Now put in the chat DIY tools, and I'll send you the list of the tools that I recommend you spend money on, and a list of the tools that, these would be lovely if you have the budget. Do you understand where I'm going from this? I'm always thinking about the budget when it comes to my clients, because couples have a limited budget, and that is it. The walls are only, and that's what it's about. So the next thing I would highly recommend, because this is something you can keep and use in the future. Yep, that was a bit loud. A hand drill, what do you call it? Cordless drill. I would recommend one of these. They usually come with a much smaller Phillips head screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver. So I would sorry about that, my phone's going flat. I would invest in a good cordless screwdriver, because you can use it in the future. It's going to be something that you're going to be able to put the IKEA packs together, you know, all those sorts of things. The next thing I would recommend would be for the wedding, for DIY, because cable ties. Again, you can buy a packet of 100. I got a packet of 100 from Aldi. They're only the shorter ones. You do know you can join them together. If you need them longer, just slip them in here, make them as long as you need, and then zip them together. I've got all sizes, again, because I need them for my business. You don't need to. If you need a bigger one, join them together. If you need a smaller one, guess what? You can cut them off after you've put them together. So I would love you to put in the chat cutting tool, DIY tools, and I will send you my list today of the essential tools that I think that you could I'd recommend you doing. Now, for a couple of nice to have, you can buy disposable gloves from the supermarket. Just plastic disposable gloves. If you don't like getting your hands all sticky and gooey and things like that, which I always do, I would recommend that you buy a packet of disposable gloves, and that will keep your hands clean. So what else would I recommend? Oh, did I talk about wire cutters? Expensive, cheap. You get to choose. I would always have a good pair of wire cutters. I use these ones in my kit that I take to different events with me for a reason, because if I lose these, I think I would cry. I've had these ones about 20 years. Can you see what's happening here? Am I telling you what? I use these in my day-to-day life in my home. So they are there for me to use all the time. So that's pretty cool. I would also have a pair of pliers. It doesn't matter whether where are the other ones? You can have flat pliers or long nose pliers, or needle point pliers, I think they call them. I prefer my needle point pliers. And again, I've had these about 15, 20 years. Yep, the handle's become a bit deteriorated over time, so I've put electrical tape over them. Means they still work, still do the job, still close, still can pick up fine things. Can you see how buying the things that spend the money where it's necessary, not where you're wasting money? Do you need 15 hooks or clamps or things like that? You can use bulldog clips. There are ways of getting around things that you can use, and I've had years and years and years to collect a lot of supplies. You don't want to spend, I've spent thousands of dollars on supplies, on the latest gadgets and things like that. I used to get asked for my birthday, what would you like for your birthday? And I'd go, ooh, a new drill bit, because they knew I'd always want something for my studio, so they always asked, which was pretty impressive. I love my family. So just think of the things that you would do. And another thing that I find, it's not necessary, but I love it, is my steel ruler. And the reason I love this steel ruler, I should put it the right way. Yes, you're going to see it backwards because of the way I've got my camera set up. It has imperial and it has metric. So therefore, I know for a fact that if I had to do a measurement, and some of you people out there have not been raised with imperial and metric, I know for a fact that 30 centimetres, I don't even have to measure this, 30 centimetres is 12 inches. I already know that. A lot of people do know that, and a lot of people don't. So within my industry, we still do both imperial and metric because of it's just what we do. Engineering's always done in imperial. So therefore, if somebody is doing a calculation for imperial, that's what it's about. So in my next video, I'm going to put together a buttonhole and a corsage for you so that you can see how you can make your own buttonhole or corsage. And if you don't know what a buttonhole is, funny little flower thing here. So it's been lovely talking to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.